Helldivers 2 has hit the summer break, or breakage. We'll get into all of this in a moment, but there are certain topics stirring it up within the community, like the new stratagem, like player counts, that deserve a little bit of time for discussion. Welcome to the channel, it's LtBuzzLitebeer, and the question is, are you going commando? And how about those player counts and the game's performance? Well, we've got all of that on deck for today, but before we begin, I wanted to again say thank you. Your continued support for my uploads is awesome to see, and as long as you keep watching them, I'm going to keep posting them. So, in case you haven't done so already, please take a moment to hit subscribe. It's free, and it really helps out the channel. And while you're at it, take a few seconds more to hit that notifications bell to receive all my future upload alerts. And here comes all the latest from Helldivers. Alright, you know how I like to start these things off, and of course, it's the Superstore Reset, which is set for 48 hours, and we have the CW9 White Wolf medium body armor with extra padding for even more armor, the CW9 helmet, complete with Helldiver logo on the forehead, the CE64 Grenadier helmet, and the CE64 Grenadier heavy body armor with engineering kit for reduced recoil and +2 grenades. And yes, in case you were wondering, these were the offerings that went live back when Polar Patriots was first launched. You know, just in case you missed them. Breaking news, we won. That's right. As you log in today, you'll be met with the Major Order Victory page along with your medals. You see me at 0 because I'm currently maxed out at 250, but anyways, along with our glorious victory brings the spoils of war and future plans, of which we did get a clue with this latest Helldivers HQ dispatch. Thanks to the valiant defense of the Helldivers of X-45, the plans for the interplanetary battle station have been received. Work completing this research will commence shortly. Completion of a project of this size will take a long time, but the full potential of the station has been made possible by today's victory. The fate of X-45 itself remains unclear, but with the plans recovered, the research station has been destroyed. The automatons will find nothing there but lightly irradiated ash. Furthermore, remaining MLS-4X commandos have been successfully shipped off planet, enabling rapid productions of the weapon. It will shortly be available for requisition fleet-wide. Now, there's a lot of speculation as to what those battle stations will actually look like and what they do once installed into the game, but I don't want to touch that subject until it happens. Still, it does get one thinking about the possibilities. Now, as far as the Major Order, it wasn't the prettiest. It was versus the bots, which are not as popular as the bugs. It was liberations, defenses, more liberating, but you know, we did it. And GG's to every diver out there that took part in this one. Now, as far as the galactic map, it's overall pretty quiet right now. The new MO is not yet dropped, but as soon as it does, I will try to tag it into this video. And it looks like the majority of divers have returned home to Bugsville, which ties into today's daily or personal order to kill 8 chargers. And there's nothing here that's weapon specific, tying into a later topic for today. But anyways, drop those 8 chargers and net yourself 15 medals. I mean, it's really pretty straightforward. Jumping back over to the spoils of war, and our most recent victory has now permanently unlocked the Commando Launcher for purchase over at the Ship Management Terminal, and all for the bargain price of only 8,000 rec credits. By the way, I just noticed that the Commando is positioned right next to the railgun in these listings. Maybe that's more than coincidence, being positioned next to another strat weapon most players have moved on from. Maybe not. I'm sure there are some strong opinions on both sides, and, you know, we might as well take a look at all of this starting now. Helldivers 2 players fear they've been tricked into unlocking a weapon they don't want. How many times do we got to teach you this lesson? Arrowhead. Now, Kotaku rang the dinner bell with this headline last Friday, and in the end, it turned out to be all incorrect. It's not going to be the first time, and I'm sure it won't be the last, because the article focused in on the theory that Arrowhead, and more specifically Game Master Joel, were not telling us what the mysterious reward weapons would be, because in the end, it was going to be those damn anti-tank mines. As evidenced today, it was not. Instead, we got the very launcher Sony blew the cover off a few weeks ago when they pulled the proverbial curtain back off this new Commando Launcher, probably way before Arrowhead wanted it actually revealed. You know, you fought us on those PSN requirements, so we're going to expose the Commando Launcher early. Take that, Helldivers. This anti-tank mine story was, and still is, currently making the rounds throughout the reporting sites as, you know, they tend to recycle the same headlines over and over. Thank God it's not the anti-tank mines. Helldivers 2 gets a new weapon and players are just glad it's not the anti-tank mines. Helldivers 2 players think they've been tricked into unlocking an unwanted weapon. But the topic of the Commando Launcher versus EATs, versus the recoilless, versus the spear, you know, it's definitely a hot topic with posts popping up all over Reddit, just like this one. Hot take, redundancy is a good thing for stratagems. I love the Commando. And it goes on to list out the pros of our new weapon. Fast cooldowns, moderate damage versus that of the EAT, flexibility, and that it gives you more stratagem options. All of which I can respect, but I did want to weigh in and, of course, ask for your opinions on this as well. But based on my particular playstyle, I was and still am a bit on the fence when it comes down to the Commando. Whereas I love the now goated spear, the dependable EATs, and the recoilless. I mean, they're all great at doing one thing. Yes, the Commando does bring in more flexibility, which, again, I can respect, but I don't need flexibility in my launcher. Again, just my 2 cents here. Now, I know what I can do with an EAT. 70-second cooldowns with my current ship upgrades. I get 2 of them. I can one-shot chargers to the face, drop ship engines, etc., etc. The Commando takes basically 2 rockets to match 1 EAT. And I know there's a bit more here. I'm simplifying it quite a bit, but a Commando is essentially 2 EATs worth of destruction packed into 1 smaller launcher with tow missile or guide-by-wire kind of built in. But where I really start to waver on the Commando comes down to the cooldown timers versus destruction capabilities. Again, with my ship upgrades, I've got 70 seconds for a fresh EAT, 120 seconds for the Commando. And if you can deal with constantly redeploying a fresh strat down to the planet every minute or so, which I can, the EATs just give me more destruction in a more compressed time frame. Now, where the Commando really shines is in versatility. I can use 1 rocket and hit a fabricator. I can use 2 rockets and smoke a dropship, and then, you know, maybe use the 4th rocket and down a bit of chaff before throwing it aside. The guidance is also very helpful, especially versus those bot dropships where they tend to rise and fall ever so slightly. I mean, you don't have to be so damn spot on perfect with your aim like you would with the EAT, but there's just something about the Commando that doesn't do it for me. If I could suggest a change to Arrowhead, it would be to give this launcher a shorter cooldown timer. Maybe cut it by 1/3, down to 80 seconds, so it's 10 seconds more than an EAT. So it would better match the DPS capabilities of those EATs. I think that would go a long way to keeping this stratagem in the mainstream. I don't know. Let me know where you stand on the Commando by dropping me a comment. Helldivers 2 has lost 90% of its player base. That's another topic I get tagged into with great frequency, and the article I see more than others is Paul Tassie's post with Forbes. Now, personally, I think this one's been played out to its fullest. To think that Helldivers 2 or Pal World or, you know, insert whatever other title you want into this discussion point could maintain the extraordinary launch player counts it was posting till now, 6 months later, is crazy to expect of Helldivers or any other title. You've also got new games out there that are making a huge splash, like Elden Ring DLC, like The First Descendant, and a lot more. But there's also this part of this topic that needs to be placed squarely at the feet of Arrowhead. Continued friends list issues, sweeping nerfs, and odd balance decisions for a PvE-only game, continued crashes, and technical performance gremlins are all things players tire of and have, and will eventually cause them to dabble with other games, which is okay. Also, Helldivers suffers a bit from lack of new content, such as modes, factions, and more. war bonds are simply not enough. Now, personally, you know I love the game and I play it daily, and the player counts will always ebb and flow as the new content arrives, as the new weapons are made available, and as other games kind of lose a little bit of their sparkle. Eventually, the divers will return, it will go up, it will go down, the game's not in danger. And with that, I think this is a great place to press pause for today. Sadly, the new major order did not drop as I was working on this upload, but once it does, expect a full report. Remember to hit subscribe and to ring that notifications bell to receive my latest upload alerts. All my socials can be found both in the video description and pinned comments below. Shout out to the 234,000 of you legends from around the globe who have taken the plunge, hit subscribe, and tune into the channel and support my content. Until the next one, this is LtBuzzLitebeer, signing off.